Hello, everyone. I'm Dijon,
And I'm Aiara.
and welcome to the Mustardcast, a podcast about the art of storytelling and how it's used across different mediums. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see our channel grow, and to click notification bell so that you're notified when we post. As usual, free Palestine. Um, so, what media have you been consuming?
Think about it. I've been kind of off the grind lately. I've been playing a lot of Ocarina of Time still. Trying to get back more into reading. So I bought a whole bunch of books. Dungeon Meshi, of course. And I'm just waiting for the Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door remake to come out, which is next month. I think the 23rd. After that, I'll probably have some more interesting things to talk about.
Okay. Well, I played a little bit of Hades, single run all the way through. Destroyed Hades because I'm just too good now. Hades is fun, but we'll talk about why I was playing Hades later. I also played a little bit of Cyberpunk. Um, I left off on this mission. I loaded up the game and I was right in front of my apartment. I was like, why am I here? And then I walked in. I was like, oh yeah, they added this mission called "I Really Want to Stay at Your House," named after the song from Edge Runners, and you could
Oh,
have like your partner come over to your apartment and have a little date, and it was cool. Um, but yeah, I did that, and then I just stopped playing after that.
real.
um, Shogun, the finale aired, and Shogun's real good. It's like I said, it's like Japanese Game of Thrones. It's real fun. Um,
It's nice.
I'm excited to see where they go from here. The Bad Batch is close to finishing. I think there's like maybe two more episodes left. Last couple episodes weren't really that great, not gonna lie, but the beginning was good, and hopefully it ends strong. Um,
So too.
Last time I said I finished Batman the Anime Series, so I'm going back to watching Batman Beyond, Superman the Anime Series, and Batman Brave and the Bold. I watched all three of those last weekend, and now that I think about it, I should watch some of those today as well. At least one of them, but I'll try to watch all three. Um, I can't remember if I either talked to you about this off the podcast or if I mentioned it last time, but I finished Furin, um, season one. So good. Now there's a gaping hole in my heart where Furin was, so I'm definitely
No.
gonna be hopping back into the manga scene because that show's so good. I need more. I need more Furin in life. But in the meantime, I've decided to watch Vinland Saga to try and fill that hole,
Ooh.
and it's been good so far. I didn't really get into it until episode five, where like the main focus of the story really took hold, but I'm enjoying it. I watched Pokemon Concierge on Netflix, and it was real good. Four like 15 to 20-minute episodes of stop motion Pokemon, just relaxing at a resort with the main character Haru coming to work at a resort and learning how to relax herself. It was real fun. It's good. It was just a real great feel good show, and it's been greenlit for season two, which I'm excited for. Uh,
Really exciting.
Sometimes you just need something short and sweet, and I haven't
Yeah.
watched something Pokemon related in a long time, so it's very nostalgic of my youth.
Mm,
Watching Pokemon anime.
yeah.
Continuing on with animation. I sent you a trailer for this anime called Mechanical Arms, which
Watched it.
I came across randomly, and I just thought it looked interesting. A quick synopsis of it: a century ago, mechanical life forms visited us from another dimension, seeking the life energy known as arbitrium, a resource that has been exhausted on their home planet. These beings compressed their bodies into arms in order to endure the dimensional crossing and came to Earth in search of our abundant arbitrium supplies. By fusing with other forms of life, they became able to operate on our planet. And in secret, they made contact with a certain segment of humanity, beginning their search for the arbitrium. Due to their appearance, people called these beings mecha arms. Now, in the modern era, a cube containing a certain mecha arm has been stolen from a lab owned by the megacorp known as Kagami Group.
Mm.
Hikaru, a normal, or let me see, let me read this, see if I can pronounce it properly. I think it's Hikaru. A normal middle school
Yeah.
boy finds the cube by chance and um, breaks its seal. Inside it, the mecha arm Alma, who has just awakened from a centuries-long slumber. Alma tries to fuse with Hikaru's body, but that's it. That's where it ends. And then there's an ellipses. um,
Oh.
but yeah, it's a so it's create. I mean, it's directed by Akamoto, and it was originally a Kickstarter backed project, launched
Oh,
by Akamoto in October 2016, and it met its goal for a 25-minute pilot and released on YouTube in May 2019, and now it's become a full series. So
ooh,
this is interesting. I might have to check out that pilot.
that sounds interesting.
But something else I thought was cool that I sent you a trailer for was Grimm Variations. Inspired by the classic Brothers Grimm stories, this anthology series features 6 fairy tales with dark twists, exposing the shadowy side of human desires. Of course, the original
Ooh.
Brothers Grimm tales were already pretty dark.
Right.
These stories also place them in very interesting worlds, and the character designs are done by Clamp of Card Captor
Oh,
Sakura and Triple X Holic fame, and of course,
wow.
Clanad and many other things.
Right, right.
Which is why it caught my attention because I immediately recognized the art style. I was like, oh, it's Clamp. And yeah, it's out on Netflix right now. Came out
Really?
a lot sooner than I thought it was because I went to just look up some stuff about it and I was like, oh, it's out already. But I think as I was doing that, I was on the homepage and then there was a trailer for Blood of Zeus season 2. Apparently 2 weeks ago, a trailer was released and I missed it. But yeah, it's coming May 9th, way sooner than I thought it was.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
I enjoyed the first season, and I honestly never expected there to be season 2 because the story kind of was wrapped up pretty succinctly. But I'm not mad at it. They're going the route of making Hades and Persephone the villains of season 2, which I was hoping they
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't when they introduced Hades at the very end of the first season. But at
Right.
least they're not making Hades like abusive to Persephone, and instead they seem like
Yeah.
a loving couple. Also, this series takes a more of a nuanced approach with the characters and shows how flawed the gods are. So even though they're the main antagonist, they might not necessarily be evil.
Right.
It might just be usual, gods messing with each other.
Yeah.
We got a little teaser for season 2 of My Adventures with Superman, with
Yes.
Jor-El warning Clark about the impending invasion of potentially Zod and Brainiac. And we see a glimpse of what may be Supergirl, dressed in an outfit very reminiscent of Android 18 from Dragon Ball Z,
Oh.
which is likely purposeful because the people working on this show are huge nerds, and there were tons of
Yeah.
references to anime in the first season. Uh, like I've said before, these writers are great at writing the interpersonal relationships between protagonists, so I'm excited to see more members of the Superman family of characters introduced, like Supergirl and
Hmm.
Steel and Superboy and things like that. And the Legion of Superheroes, which they're 100% going to do that. They already introduced like a multiverse, so time travel is nothing. Um,
Right.
yeah, we don't know the exact date just yet, but seeing as they showed a teaser, I imagine it's coming out later this year, probably around the same time it came out last year,
Mm.
which I don't remember when that was. It's kind of a blur. It almost feels like it did.
Yeah.
It feels like it didn't come out last year. It feels like it was the year before that, but it wasn't. It was last year. I don't know
It's
why
really weird.
why it feels so far away. But yeah, it's nice to have animated shows with a proper release schedule. Um,
Yeah.
there was a trailer for Transformers One, an animated Transformers movie, and I was shocked
Ooh.
to see this trailer pop up in my feed. I had completely forgotten that this was happening, but the trailer looked good. Like I'd heard about it a while back, but it completely just went in went in out ear. I can't speak. Went in one ear and out the other. um, the tone feels in this trailer at the very least super stereotypical action comedy that has you know infected blockbusters nowadays. That is a
Right.
big reason why the MCU has become so stale. And despite that fact, I'm just happy we're getting an animated theatrical Transformers movie because it's just what a lot of people have been wanting forever because that's where Transformers
Yeah.
thrive. But also, this is an origin story for both Optimus and Megatron, so it takes place exclusively on Cybertron. So no
Oh,
humans, just robots. Like we literally talked about this not too long ago. I'm pretty sure.
we
um,
did.
I just want. Yeah, it was because I've been reading the comic, and that's why it was brought up before. And like, yeah,
Right.
just want Transformers. We don't need humans, not yet at least. And yeah, we do see flashes of more serious moments, likely from the moment they become enemies. So I have hope that this trailer was potentially edited this way to appeal to the general populace, but the movie itself will have some more serious moments mixed in with the comedy. But they apparently plan on
Mm.
doing a trilogy, so maybe this first one will be a little bit more comedic. But as they become enemies and things get a little bit more serious, it gets a little bit darker and less comedic. Um,
Yeah.
and not gonna lie, Bumblebee was getting on my nerves in the trailer, and I'm like, okay, take his voice box. He don't need to talk no more. I don't ever want to hear Bumblebee talk ever again. I don't need to hear
Mm.
that man speak. He talking too much. Um, but yeah, it looks cool animation wise. I'm excited for it. I like me some Transformers.
Yeah.
But moving on to comics, I finally finished Soul Eater because I had to go to the clinic, and while I'm sitting in the waiting room, I like to read books.
Mm.
But then I had to go back again the next day to get some blood work done. So since I
Mm.
finished Soul Eater, I decided to finally finish up Manga in Theory and Practice by Hirohiko Araki, the creator of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh
Um,
wow.
which I was like halfway through it, and I was like, I need to finish this book. It's just been sitting in my closet for like a year and a half since I got it. So yeah, I need to finish this book. So I'm working my way through that, and also
Hmm.
still got the Spider Verse book to get through, and then I got to go through the other Spider Verse book, and then I got the Dishonored art book, and the Final Fantasy art books are just pictures, so I'm not worried about that one. I don't really have to read for that one. I just got to look at stuff.
Right.
I ordered an art book that's supposed to be coming Tuesday, but unfortunately we have that
Ooh.
meeting on Tuesday, and I'm like, I'm not gonna be
Yeah.
home. This art book was expensive because it's rare, and I'm so excited for it. It is the art of Metal Gear Solid 1
Ooh.
through 4. I've been wanting this art book. This is easily the art book I've wanted the most, but I didn't get because I couldn't afford it. But now I can.
Hmm.
It was very expensive. But and I missed. I'm mad I missed the discount because there was two options. I'm not gonna say the price. Yes,
Hmm.
I am. One was 250. One was 290. The 250 one
Right.
went down to 230, and then
Ooh.
somebody bought it immediately
Dang.
right before I got a chance to. So I was like, so I was looking through the lowest prices. The lowest price was the 291. Everything is
Ooh.
300 plus. Everything else 300 plus. So I was like, I'm gonna get this before
Rough.
somebody snatch it up. So it's coming Tuesday, and I went to UPS website. I made an account a while back because I was having troubles with packages a while back. Um, and so I logged into my account and like signed up for like this thing that tells you about your packages. Like you can do the same thing for like just your letters and just regular mail that comes as well. So that I could
Mm.
like tell them like, okay, open the front door and sit on the steps in the hallway between the apartments. Because I do not want people don't really steal packages like that around here, but just in case, I don't want anybody stealing
You don't even
scrapes.
want the like it to be an
And
opportunity. I
nobody,
get it. I get it.
because the thing is, nobody, so whoever would steal it would be disappointed. They would open it like, oh, it's a book.
Right.
And probably a book of something that they're not interested in. But they'll probably look it up and find out if it's worth something, which they will find out, and then they'll sell it.
Hmm.
So
Right.
I just want to be extra careful. So the goal is, hopefully, I'm home. If I'm not home,
Right.
someone else is home, or I'll tell my neighbors like, hey,
I'm expecting a package.
could you bring this? They usually are good about if somebody comes and knocks on the door, like to bring the packages in. So like, hopefully, it's all good. Um, but moving on. DC is attempting to create their own version of the Ultimate Universe, led by
Oh
Scott
boy.
Snyder, called DC Absolute, and I'm excited for this. Just something
Hmm.
different because the main universe is cool and all. There's some good comics coming out right now, but I want them to do something new and different with the characters, and something the an Ultimate Universe or DC Absolute as they're calling it could offer is like permanent change to characters, like characters dying and staying dead. Since it's not the
Hmm.
main universe and they can do whatever they want, they can kill characters and have them stay gone, or they could have characters actually get married and stay married, and
Right.
have characters take up mantles and the old person have the mantle to like retire, and like just have stuff like that happen without worrying about anything because this is the main universe. The main universe can keep bringing people back to life, but this one could keep people dead or retired and have people actually grow and move on and have things change permanently. Um, which is also something I hope happens with the new Marvel Ultimate Universe. Which we'll get to that towards the end. Actually, you know what? Let me talk about it now. Why wait till the end? Ultimate Storyline number 4. Um, it was a great chapter. This chapter had Peter and MJ go on a double date with Harry Osborn and Gwen Stacy, both of which they're meeting for the first time in this universe. Spoiler alert for issue number 3. But Peter and Harry discovered each other's secret identities as a Green Goblin and Spider-Man, and became friends. And that resulted in them initiating this double date. And it was just a real good chapter of them learning about each other. I also picked up issue 1 and 2 of Ultimate Black Panther. And in this universe, T'Challa is married to Okoye, but out of duty and not necessarily out of love. And I can only
Mm.
assume they sleep in separate beds. I can only assume similar to, I'm not sure if it's the exact same in the comics, but it might be. But I know in the MCU, Okoye is gay, so I feel like it might be a thing where it's like they're doing it for the sake of like some type of cultural thing, but they're not. They're just friends. Um,
Right.
but with the Maker imprisoned, which is the alternate universe version of Mr. Fantastic that was evil and took over the world, his remaining partners are attempting to maintain control over the world, and Khonshu and Ra were tasked with controlling Africa. But they've never been able to control Wakanda, so they've sent in spies to destabilize the country for their takeover, forcing Wakanda and Black Panther into war.
Ooh.
Okay, Poison Ivy. More gay shenanigans. We continue learning about Poison Ivy's origin as she's being taken advantage of by her Professor Dr. Woodrow. When a promising new classmate arrives that impresses the professor, starting a rivalry that turns into love. You know, good old fashioned bisexual storytelling,
Yeah.
fighting over a man until you realize you love each other, and not him. Good old Legend of Korra. Uh,
Yeah.
Superman. Lex Luthor and Superman team up to take down the Lex Revenge Squad, made up of Dr. Farr, Mr. Grav, and Lex's own mother.
Oh.
Uh, in the last issue of Wonder Woman and Superman go to the universe's biggest mall to try and find a gift for Batman's birthday. Uh, this is meant to be a spiritual successor to the classic Trinity story, For the Man Who Has Everything, by Alan Moore, most famous for writing The Watchmen, where Batman and Wonder Woman go to bring Superman gifts when they're attacked by Mongol. This story was adapted in an episode of Justice League Unlimited, if you've seen it. And
I have actually.
yeah, it's the only adaptation of his work that Alan Moore actually likes.
Really?
So that's how good that show is. And that episode. The Flash. In an attempt to spend more time with his wife, Wally takes her along with him as he fights crime when he runs into his mentor, the second Flash, Barry Allen. And things have become tense between them since Wally has been keeping secrets and refusing to ask for help when he needs it. As a result of his emotional imbalance, for the first time in a long time, he can't keep up with Barry, who is more sure of himself, and the Speed Force knows it. It's very interesting dynamic of how their emotions affect their speed. Um, but Wesley Dodds the Sandman, the final issue, Wesley discovers that it was someone very close to him who attempted to steal his notes to create a new chemical weapon,
Oh.
and goes to confront them. Uh, Green Arrow, after discovering that Roy Harper, aka Arsenal, Green Arrow's former sidekick, and adopted son, was kidnapped by Amanda Waller, he goes to confront her, and she convinces him to go on the same mission Roy was sent on to try and find him. Power Girl, Power Girl and Supergirl are trying to track down the source of a new drug called Avalon, whose users are transported to a new world, literally. And yeah, that's it. That's all I've
Wow.
been reading. You been reading anything? Yeah, I've read a lot of comic books. One day I just sat down. I was like, I need to catch up on some DC comic books. I actually need to catch up on some manga.
I've only been really reading Dungeon Meshi, and that's been really on and off. I've been trying to get into is that manga called? Light of the Lustrous ended, and the ending to that was something special. It
Good
was
special or
very
bad special?
it depends on who you ask. I thought it was good special. To even begin to explain it, it's like a whole bunch of spoilers. But the main character it was kind of a Pixar ending. To put it in like layman's terms, it's like the Foss they didn't get what they thought they wanted, but they got what they wanted and what they deserved in the end. And I thought that was a really nice way to end it. And there was a really impactful line, and I can't remember what it is. It was something about I forgot it. It was really good, and I've been thinking about it ever since. And it also coincided with the reappearance of a comet that only appears every like 77 years. And it's got like a mint green trail, and of course, Foss is mint green. And I just thought there was a lot of coincidence. It was really cool. I'm gonna miss Hoseki though. It was really good while it was still serializing.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, moving on to TV and film, I was gonna go and try and see Godzilla X Kong, but I just didn't feel like going anywhere yesterday. I was just chilling.
Real.
So who knows? Maybe I'll see it before next episode. But So we're gonna talk about trailers mostly. But first we're gonna talk about Papyrus 2. They made a sequel to the infamous SNL skit with Ryan Gosling,
Mm-hmm.
where a man is driven mad by what was, at the time, the highest grossing movie of all time, using papyrus in its logo. Um, and it's still up there, even though it's not number one anymore. And I thought that they changed it for the second movie because the logo is different. But it was revealed in this video that it's just papyrus in bold.
Oh,
That's all
come
they did for
on.
the new logo. But it does look good in bold. And because I remember saying, "Oh, this is much better." But I'm like, "Oh, it's just emboldened." And of course, he goes insane again. But apparently, naturally, people who worked on the movie saw the original skit and decided to
Right.
double down, literally, um, with the logo. So that's funny. We also got a trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine, which
Oh,
I
never
also
seen that.
forgot to mention. Still watching X-Men, of course. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Last episode, it's hard to say if he's still my favorite. I think Cyclops might be my favorite X-Men now, but for the longest time, Iceman was my favorite X-Men, and he appeared
Mm-hmm.
for the first time in the show, and they talk about how he was one of the original and all that. And what was it? I don't know. I saw some image from the X-Men '97 that shows a picture of like the X-Men of the past or whatever, and Angel's there, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're pulling some type of retcon, or maybe they could try to slide it in and make it seem like. But based on this episode and the way the show has been going, even though in the comics Angel was one of the original five X-Men alongside Beast, Jean
Right.
Grey, and Cyclops and Iceman, um, Angel wasn't like one of the originals in this show. So maybe they're kind of soft retconning it and being like, no, he's original. They just never mentioned it for some weird reason. And they talk about him like this is the first time they've ever met him in the Apocalypse episode. But I don't know.
Silly.
But moving on. Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah, we got another trailer, and it looks fun. And it looks weirdly low budget, and I don't mean that as a bad thing because those budget constraints are what led to the greatness that is Deadpool 1 and 2. But this is Disney we're talking about, and they're trying to win back an audience that has almost completely checked out. So it probably just looks that way because they're hiding a lot of stuff by showing us different moments from the exact same scenes. So what made it look low
Mm-hmm.
budget to me is like look like they were just reusing a lot of the same stuff, but it's probably just because they're hiding stuff because there's probably a lot of really cool stuff in the movie. Um,
Right.
and it releases July 26th. Yeah, we see more of Wolverine fully suited up, and we see him. He does tear the sleeves off at some point. Unfortunately, with the sleeves goes the shoulder pads, which like kind of ruins it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because like a big part of the sleeveless look is also still having the shoulder pads. So without the shoulder
Right.
pads, it doesn't look as good. It
It
still
just
looks good,
it looks awkward.
but it's just missing like two big pieces. But
Yeah.
as good as the suit is, it's still like very much a little overcomplicated in a lot of ways. What helps is that thankfully the colors are bright, whereas
Mm-hmm.
most comic book costumes, even when it's a good costume, the colors will be super dull for some weird reason. But the
Yeah.
colors for both his and Deadpool's costume are very vibrant, which is great. But they still don't fully commit because like the like tiger stripe parts that are like on his like rib area aren't like actual like triangle shaped stripes. They try to like change the shape a little bit to try and make it, I guess, try to make more sense. It's like, dog, they're superheroes. You don't got to do that.
Right.
Just let it be a superhero costume. It still looks good,
We're
but like
in
there's still,
we're in it for the bright colors.
yeah, there's still little things that you can tell they're still like afraid to just still let it be a comic book suit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for this. You know,
Really excited.
I have faith. I feel like it'll be good. And hopefully it starts a new era of
Yeah.
good Marvel movies.
I hope so, because been
um,
getting some real stinkers lately.
yeah, only the good ones have been. I feel like the only ones I've liked lately have been what is it? Controversially, Eternals. I think Eternals is great because of
Oh.
how different it is in comparison to all the other ones. The
Hmm.
biggest thing, like I've said over and over again, is that they're all the same. And
Yeah.
Black Panther 2 was great. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, of course, was great. And Shang-Chi was great, but over time, as I think more about it, it was good. But it wasn't like the best thing ever.
It wasn't
It
groundbreaking.
just had really good action, but it honestly kind of falls apart towards the end.
Dang.
And also the actor is kind of weird. The actor that plays the main character.
Mm.
But moving on to video games. This is gonna be kind of a short episode. We might have to fap a little bit at the end. No, maybe not, because we do have some stuff we can talk about for a while.
Okay.
But I saw a trailer for this game called Skim. It's a game about jumping from shadow to shadow, in a
I saw
relaxing and
that
lively
game.
environment. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
little 3D platformer where you play as this little creature just jumping through shadows, and it looks real fun. It releases July 18th. It looks cool. I think it releases on all platforms. So yeah,
It does look really cute.
it looks really cool. I also came across this trailer for a game called Soulframe Preludes Fey Pact. Very long
Mm-hmm.
name. Uh,
Really.
it's an upcoming. I think this is like an expansion or something for it, and it was like in early access a while ago.
Ah.
And it's just called Soulframe. But yeah, it's from Digital Extremes and the creative minds behind Warframe, with a heavy focus on themes of nature, restoration, and history in a brand new world. It looks interesting. It kind of reminds me of what I thought Elden Ring would be like in some ways, which is more traditional
Mhm.
fantasy, whereas Elden Ring adds that kind of like Souls-like gothic horror touch. Um,
Right.
uh, I'll be watching this game's progress with great interest. It looks kind of cool. Um,
Yeah.
and then I saw a trailer for a game called Kill Knight, an arcade-inspired isometric action shooter. Condemned to internal sufferance, deep within the voids of an eldritch arena, you must wield an arsenal of devastating weaponry to obliterate swarms of otherworldly horrors and master the demon within. It feels like an isometric bullet hell version of Doom. It looks very
Ooh.
interesting. But Marvel Rivals. We got a trailer for Loki, and the announcement of a new character, and the official date for the closed alpha. The closed
Ooh.
alpha will take place May 10th at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time until May 20th at 11:59 Pacific Standard Time. 19 characters will be included: Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Groot, Hulk, Iron Man, Loki, Luna Snow, Magic, Magneto, Mantis, Namor, Penny Parker, Punisher, Rocket Raccoon, Star-Lord, Storm, Scarlet Witch, Spider-Man, and the newly announced Hela, daughter of
Oh.
Loki. Which in the movies she's his sister, but in the comics and Greek Norse mythology, she's his daughter.
Mm.
There will be 3 game modes: Convoy, Domination, and Convergence. I believe Convoy is kind of like the escort, like a vehicle. Domination, I'm pretty sure, is team deathmatch, and Convergence is like a King of the Hill. Not the show.
Um,
Uh,
I don't understand why they didn't just call them what they are. You know what?
I mean, most games don't call them that outside of like Call of Duty and Battlefield.
Ah.
Like what is it? In Halo, Team Deathmatch is called Slayer. Um, and it will be 3 maps: Ysgard, Yggdrasil Path, Ysgard Royal Palace, and Tokyo 2099 Shin Shibuya. So it seems like there will be like different versions of different maps. Like there's Ysgard, and then there's like 2 different versions of that map, and then there's Tokyo 2099. And so far, they only have one version of that map. Um, but yeah, the Loki trailer increased my excitement for this game exponentially because it looks really good. The stuff that they showed that he can do, he can like create a clone that can attack and like essentially work like a sentry, but he can also teleport to the clone. And in the trailer, they showed a Hulk like leaping towards him, and then he teleports to his clone, so the Hulk misses. But he leaves the clone behind, so the Hulk keeps attacking the clone while he attacks the Hulk from behind, which is really cool. And then he can
So,
also like turn invisible and like escape while leaving a clone behind, so that the person attacking him doesn't know that he's disappeared, and you could do a counterattack. And yeah, he could just do a lot of stuff with clones, and it's very interesting. Um, and yeah, this will probably be the first multiplayer game that I get obsessed with and spend an obscene amount of money on for skins, because this game looks real cool. This is for sure going to be my Overwatch. I'm going to be obsessed. It looks real cool.
real, real.
Definitely, we talked about it, off podcast, but I was thinking of getting a gaming PC because I don't really need a full on PC. I need a laptop would be best for me because it's
Hmm.
like I'm not really playing games that require the highest of like settings. I'm gonna save those games for like my consoles. So
Right.
for games like this or like a bunch of indie games that I just haven't been able to play because they're only available on PC, the laptop would work best. So I'm currently trying to figure out like which laptop would be best. You said you were also thinking of getting a laptop to replace
Yeah.
your PC. Have you like done any
Yep.
research, figured out like any ones that you're looking at in particular?
Nope.
Yeah,
I think
no.
for me, like price
Yeah, for sure.
is a big thing. It's like I'm not even really worried about the specs either. As long as it can like run, because I don't play games with like super heavy specs. I'm
Mm.
not an Overwatch or like a League of Legends. I'm not an enjoyer of those kinds of games. If you can run Minecraft with shaders on it, that's enough for me, and that's what my current PC can do. So maybe something around those like that range.
Yeah.
And I paid. I'm definitely getting it secondhand because
Mm.
I didn't pay first hand prices for my first PC, and I'm definitely going to do that for a lot.
Yeah, that's fair. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But if DC were to do something like this, I would actually want it to be a battle royale.
Yeah.
So there was a wrestling inspired melee focused battle royale called Rumbleverse
Mm-hmm.
that had a lot of fighting game players getting into it because of how deep the mechanics were. And it was
Right.
unfortunately shut down because it wasn't making enough money, largely due to a lack of
Oh,
marketing by Epic Games, unfortunately.
lame.
And I think that if you combine that with if you combine the like Rumbleverse like melee combat and a little bit of it didn't have any type of like shooting in that game, but I feel like a decent game would need shooting for certain characters, like Green Arrow and stuff like that.
Right.
And you combine that with like the hero shooter genre and DC Comics characters, it could be dope. And the maps, because battle royales tend to have one map that changes, over time. The map could be like an amalgam of some of the most famous places in the DC universe. Combine Gotham and Metropolis and like War World and Apocalypse and New Genesis and all that. And Themyscira. That would be cool. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, Marvel Rivals looks cool. I'd love to see DC do something like this in the future.
Looks very cool. Very cool. DC should just make more games in general.
Yeah, I mean, they do. They just have been bad.
Well, yeah. Let me
they
rephrase that. DC should make more good games.
yeah. Hopefully that Wonder Woman game by Monolith is good.
I have my fingers crossed because it's like, come on, y'all. Y'all are like 10 for 10 on bad games. Probably more than that, even. There's probably some I don't even know about, but
I mean, they have mostly good games. It's just the last two that were really bad.
mm, Black Stain.
I mean,
Black
it's
Stain.
also they were only making Batman games forever, even though they were good. It was only Batman, and it's like, please
True.
make
But now the
games with
market is
other
saturated.
characters, please. Give me a Flash game, give me a Superman game, give me a Green Lantern game. Finally, get a Wonder Woman game.
See, when you said Flash game, I misheard you and thought you meant like Flash game in like the
That's
old
funny.
internet game sense, and I was like, oh, there's tons of them.
But yeah,
Very quickly realized that's not what you meant, though.
yeah
I
that's
wouldn't mind DC Flash games, though. I think that would be funny.
because yeah, I'm like to win back the audience, they need to just make another good Batman game. But at the same time, I'm like,
Yeah.
if it was up to me, so you have WB Games made Gotham Knights, and Rocksteady made Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, and
Right.
I would have Rocksteady take that version of Metropolis that they made, expand on it, and make a Superman game.
Mm.
And then I would have WB Montreal make a Teen Titans game, a 4-player co-op Teen Titans
Ooh.
game, because the thing about that is that you can only play 2-player in the open world co-op, but later
Right.
on as DLC they added like these arenas where you can play 4-player co-op and fight a bunch of enemies. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that if you the game probably it will work better if you make a completely linear, no open areas, just a linear 4-player co-op superhero game, but Teen Titans, and you choose between, of course, the most popular team is the New Teen Titans that was adapted for the
Right.
2003 cartoon, but there were two members missing that were part of the New Teen Titans, and that's Kid Flash
Hmm.
and Wonder Girl. So I would have, of course, Robin, Beast Boy, Cyborg, Starfire, Raven, and then Kid Flash and Wonder Girl, and you can only choose four to play as.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
And
I think it
then
would be fun.
I would also
Oh,
have a DLC where you play as the original Teen Titans with you still have the original was Robin, Wonder Girl, Kid Flash, Aqualad, and Speedy. So Aqualad and Speedy would be new, and then to add two more characters, like there are 7 characters in the main roster. I would add Bumblebee and Omen to add 2 more girls, and
Ooh.
to add some more diversity in terms of the power sets. Because Omen, I've talked about her before. She appears in a Power Girl comic. She basically Jean Grey, and Bumblebee is basically
Right.
the Wasp from Marvel, where she can shrink and like shoot lasers.
Right.
But yeah, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say it would also be fun to have like a Teen Titans, like a 4-player like style like beat 'em up game, like how they do the what is it? The Ninja Turtles arcade games. I
Yeah.
think that would be really, really fun.
You know, Marvel
We
needs
don't
to
get
hop
enough
on
of
that
those.
with the popularity of X-Men right now. Make a
That's what I'm saying.
get that same team to make an X-Men beat 'em up. That'd be real fun.
We just need more side-scrolling beat 'em ups. I really like that genre.
I really want to.
Streets of Rage,
Yeah.
come back to me.
I still need to play Streets of Rage 4 with my brother. But yeah, I need a Power Rangers beat 'em up again. Like
That
give me
yeah.
more. But there was a showcase earlier this week for Metaphor ReFantazio.
Yes.
Shows off a bunch of new information. I watched the showcase, but I didn't take many notes, so I'm getting a lot of this information I'll be talking about from Kenneth Shepard at Kotaku. It's revealed that the game's music is actually heard in the main character's head,
I thought that was really funny.
with the spell from your fairy companion, Galika. Whether that has any bearing on the gameplay, we've yet to find out. It's probably just a little funny detail. But we've talked about this before, but like the main story surrounds an election in which anyone, regardless of social status, is able to become the next king by gaining public support. This is where the social elements come into play, as getting to know people is how you sway public opinion in your favor. And you'll
Right.
have to make connections both in the richer and poorer areas. And the map in this game seems so much bigger than in any game they've made before. And you explore essentially a whole country rather than a single city or like neighborhood or a couple of neighborhoods in a city.
Right.
And there are a lot more open areas where you ride around on your like hover sword, which is interesting.
It's still very funny to me.
Yeah, because time passes like they always do in these games. You'll have a limited time to finish the main quest. This also includes some of the side quests, which will
Oh.
scale in difficulty depending on when you do them. So planning when you do them may be the difference between something being easy or near impossible.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, and Metaphor's versions of personas are called archetypes, and these determine a character's traits and abilities. But unlike Persona, the main character isn't the only person who can use different archetypes. So you can customize your party's loadout as you see fit. Persona games
Cute
usually,
too.
yeah,
Like,
from 3 onward, only the main character can do that. But it's different now. Yeah, it releases October 11th, so I gotta beat Persona 3 before then, because I'm probably gonna play
good
this.
luck.
Probably have to push back playing Persona 5 Royal.
Yeah, I don't blame you. You're not missing much. I'm actually like
I don't know.
more
I like Persona 3.
excited.
I mean, it's Persona 5 a lot.
That's real. That's real. That's real. But yeah, I'm really excited for this game, like a lot more than I was when it was first announced. I also heard that like a lot of people are kind of upset about this. There won't be any romances in it,
Yeah,
and
when
I'm
I
glad
was
for it.
looking up stuff for notes, I saw a lot of articles about that, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I
I'm
mean,
glad personally that there's no like because they tend to get in the way
I
of the
like
story.
I like romance options. It just don't make game
Yeah.
for this. It doesn't make sense for this game specifically. When it's a game about high schoolers, it makes sense. But when you're
Right,
trying
but like for this game,
for this game, it just doesn't make any sense.
yeah.
But also,
Well,
I feel like it's just they just got to do them better.
yeah,
The reason
because that's a big problem that Atlas has always had. It's like the first 2 Persona games have really, really good like romance arcs, and then 3 happens, and it all just goes downhill from there.
They just got to do them better. It'll be more fun that way.
Yeah.
But Hades 2, there was a technical
Yes.
test. We just got to see the game in the first area. The first area you explore is Erebus, named after the Greek personification of darkness. It is the pathway to the underworld where fallen souls await entry. And yeah, I watched the live stream where 2 devs were talking about the game and playing it for like 3 hours.
Right.
And it was really fun just to watch them talk about it and play the game, and the game looks so good. And of course, I watched like a couple other people play it as well.
Right.
Yeah, there's more of a focus on magic and area of effect attacks, it seems, in this game. at least with like the first weapon you get, and even without that, even when you use the sister blades as they're called, you still get a lot of area effect attacks, depending on
which I'm really
the boons you
enjoying.
choose. Yeah, and yeah, we saw several new and old gods in the technical test.
Mm-hmm.
We saw the return of Zeus, Poseidon, Demeter, Aphrodite, and Artemis, with brand new
Right.
boons that do a lot of similar effects as before. But some new gods we saw were Apollo, Hestia, and Hephaestus. Apollo is the god of light and can daze foes, making them miss attacks. And Hestia is the goddess of fire and does scorch damage. Hephaestus, as far as I can tell, has no like unique trait, but his boons do a lot of damage. We also saw Selene, the moon incarnate, who looks like she'll be taking the place of Chaos, seeing as there are gates with her symbol on it on the ground in several of the rooms.
Right.
And Skelly is back as Skellimaeus and is a full-blown training master rather than a shady skeleton in the backyard.
When you put it like that, it makes him sound extra shady.
Yeah, the mirror is replaced with an altar that allows you to deposit ashes to flip over different Arcana cards. These cards will grant permanent upgrades to be used for future runs, unlocking cards that will reveal it. Unlocking cards will reveal adjacent cards that can be unlocked. And only 9 cards will be available for the technical test, but that number will grow over the course of the early access period. You can also gather resources that can be used to purchase upgrades using tools like shovels and pickaxes. But similar to the weapons, you can only bring one at a time, so you have to like pick and choose depending on what resources you need for what upgrades you're trying to make your way towards. The
And I
one,
kind of
oh,
like.
go ahead.
I was gonna say I like that system better than how like the resources work in the first
Yeah, we
Hades
had
because it's
to
like
pick a room to get to resources, which they still have that, but you can also, if you have like the option between a boon and a resource, but in that room you could pick up a resource, it'd be easier to
yeah,
choose the boon.
it's huge. Like because that was like a thing that kind of turned me off towards the like end of the game when it's like I have all the everything else. I'm just trying to like unlock all the stuff, and it's getting some of the resources was like a huge hassle. And it was a shame because I'm really enjoying the game. I love Hades to pieces. Just that was always a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, the one criticism I have of what I've seen so far is that I'm not a huge fan of the new portrait art for like the dialogue. It's not bad by any means, but I prefer the thick outlines and the stark black shadows and the dynamic posing
Right.
in the portraits for the first game. And while these portraits won't completely change over the course of early access, it's likely that they aren't finished because in addition to the portraits, there are also like background art now with the dialogue scenes, and
Mm-hmm.
for one of them, I think it was for Artemis, like the background art was very clearly not finished. So it's like maybe the character art for some of them also isn't finished, and they might add some more details, some more of those thick black outlines and dark shadows. But maybe they won't, and it'll be fine. It's not bad. It's just I do
It's
prefer
different.
the way they looked in the first one, and I'll get used to
Yeah.
it, and it'll be fine. But it's just the only bit of criticism I have.
Right.
But yeah, it looks good. I'm excited.
Yeah. Bisexual stay winning. Like
Always,
all
always.
the new characters they've introduced. Like they haven't missed yet.
Let me tell
They
you
have not.
something about Hecate. Oh my
No,
god,
because
those abs threw me
listen.
off. I was like, I don't care what you look like underneath the rest of those robes. It's crazy also that she has on so many clothes except where her abs are. She just shows them off.
Supergiant knew what they were doing. They knew
It's
exactly
funny.
what they were doing. Great cheese on them. They're man.
It's okay.
Her and Eris, I think, is the one that they included. The
Nemesis?
one goddess of strife. Nemesis. Yeah, listen. First of all, I'm just excited because from what I could tell from the technical test, Nemesis, and I'm assuming like
Her
a
brother.
couple other, yeah, her brother, and then probably one other. Words are hard.
Oh, you know what? That's
Man.
probably what they're gonna do with this one. They're gonna have you have
Yeah,
to
they're
choose
gonna be
between the
the
siblings
Araignée, yup,
because
equivalents.
yeah, this time you can't. You can't have them both because that would be weird. Granted, it's
Yeah,
Greek. It's Greek. Who knows?
yeah, but
By morality of us people in real life, it's weird. But
Right.
You know,
But to the Greeks, this is Tuesday.
Greek mythology, is regular.
Yeah. You know what though? Hypnos, the little glimpse of him that we got. I'm so sad. Why is he so asleep? Wake up,
Permanently in
sir.
sleep. Yeah, I'm interested to see one what Kronos will look like because he's
Yeah.
a Titan. I'm trying to think. Uh, who else is technically a Titan that we've seen before? Isn't someone else is technically a Titan?
I
I,
think.
I,
Oh,
I can't remember, but yeah. What do you,
yeah.
what is he gonna look like? It's gonna be interesting.
Right.
In my mind, I'm imagining he's gonna be like Flavor Flav, and he's gonna have a clock necklace around his neck.
Yeah. No, me too. Though. Like it would make sense.
But also, like they talk about Zagreus, Persephone, and Hades like they're dead, but then sometimes they talk about them like they're just captured. So I assume they're just captured. But
Yeah.
I wonder, in my mind, I'm thinking that maybe you're gonna have to fight Zagreus as one
They
of the
make us fight
bosses.
Zacharias.
Like
I'm
he's
gonna
gonna
sob.
like he's gonna be either being controlled or being forced to fight you, and like he is either the final boss or like the second to last boss. Or that's under the assumption that there are only gonna be 3 areas like there is in the first one. There might be more.
Right.
There might be like 5. Like maybe like first area you fight Hecate, second area you fight some other boss, and then maybe like the third area you fight Zagreus, the fourth area you fight Hades, and then the last area you fight
Persephone. I'm
Kronos.
kidding.
No, that'd be hilarious.
Second boss fight would probably go hard, low key.
Yeah, but yeah, then you fight Kronos. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving on to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So I got some more pet peeves, but first
Oh boy.
I'll start with some positivity. The Odin boss
Okay.
fight in this game is insane. So to unlock summons, you have to fight them first and beat them. But you can decrease their strength by finding temples. But even after decreasing his strength, Odin was a problem.
Ooh.
But yesterday, I finally got his number. The problem with
Nice.
Odin is that if he does enough damage to you, he'll trigger an insta kill move.
Oh.
But it takes a while
Yikes.
to charge, so you do have time to like stun him, which will cancel it before he uses it. But I could not figure out how to keep him from starting the insta kill move other than dodging, so I kept losing. And also, this is where like I mentioned before, the lack of like material loadouts became a glaring flaw because I had to swap out materia to try and beat him, and it was annoying to try and figure out who had what when I was trying to put them back to where they were before. So if there were loadouts, it would be a lot simpler for me to just go, okay, put everybody back into their basic loadouts, and I don't have to switch things around too much.
Yeah.
But it's just, based on how they handle feedback, I can only assume they're probably going to add that in the next game. When I finally beat him, it was without swapping any material whatsoever.
Oh wow.
And instead, I just figured out how to dodge his move so he doesn't do enough damage to trigger his insta kill. But then also, I figured out how to do a lot of damage to him so that I could stun him before he did the insta kill move. And like after like I think 3 attempts, I beat him. It's crazy how that happens when you fight a boss fight. It's hard. You take a break, you come back, and then you beat him quicker. It's crazy how that works.
That happened to me with Madarame in Persona 5. He was kicking my behind the first couple times I fought him. I was like, I need a break. Then I came back like 2 days later, sweeped him. It was insane.
But now onto the annoying stuff. Some of the design decisions in this game are insane. They make you wonder what the hell they were thinking. Like truly, they're mind-boggling. It makes no sense. There are escort missions where you need to literally walk for no good goddamn reason. It's not like a situation where it's like a secret loading screen because everything in this game loads instantaneously. I will travel to the other side of the goddamn map and it will happen in like 5 seconds. The load times in this game are ridiculous. The power of next gen gaming. I guess it's not next gen anymore, but
It was at the time.
it's great. So it's not like a situation where they're loading something and that's why you're taking forever to walk. No. It's just them trying to pad the time for no reason. It's stupid. I don't know why. I don't know who thought it was a good idea to have you have these missions where you have to walk so slow. So excruciatingly slow. And then there's a section where they force you to play as, in my opinion, the worst party member in the goddamn game. He's useless in both the story and gameplay. Kate Sith, or Ketchi, however it's pronounced. That little robot cat sucks. So bad. Not fun to play. And the section when they force you to play as him as like the main party member is ass. And his puzzles suck. Cases sucks. He's stupid. I hate him. Kill him. Burn him. Uh, I'm 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 so happy when that next game come out and they add Sid and Vincent Valentine to the roster, and I'm getting Kasich the hell out of here so fast. He will never be in my party ever again unless they significantly change the way that he plays in the next game. But yeah, I'm close to the end of the game. But it was taking me so long. I took week-long breaks in between sessions because they just keep adding these weird side quests, and the maps in the last two sections were horrible. Well, the Cosmo Canyon was alright, but Gongaga sucked. But now, back to the good. After I finally pushed through the sludge, I'm finally in another fun part of the game that reminds me, okay, it is a good game.
It's all worth it.
It is a good game, okay? I was faltering for a second. I was starting to be a hater, but it is a good game. I promise you. um, because now I can freely fast travel across the entire map, and new side quests have been unlocked in each area, and the quest, as they call them, is their main story, and then the side quests are just called quest. They tend to be really good, except for the one that made me walk really slow. Before now, the fast travel was restrictive because you have to travel between two continents. You start in the eastern continent, then you go to the western continent, and they try to be kind of realistic in that you can't cross the ocean without going back to Costa del Sol and then hopping on a ship. And in the eastern continent, you need a chocobo cart to cross between the two different areas in that part of the map. And all of that costs money.
Right.
But later in the game, you unlock the ability to travel by air via a plane, so you can travel all over the map. But that also costs money. But it's a pretty fun system, in my opinion. But I didn't use it much because I did every quest before I left an area and never had a reason to go back, except for like one time. So I can imagine it being annoying if you didn't do that, especially since you got to spend money to do it. But predicting that, the person who offers you flights later on in the game, where I'm at currently, becomes sympathetic to the cause and offers them for free, allowing you to fast travel anywhere on the map, free of cost. And you no longer have to like travel to another area to do it. You can just go to the map, click the fast travel point, and fast travel there. So yeah, it's real cool.
That's cool that they came up with an in-lore explanation as to why that is.
Because it's real fun because you're just traveling across the planet. Literally, you're going from continent to continent, city to city, and it's real fun the way they do it. You catch the chocobo or you walk. Some areas you have to walk through this area to get there, but then later on you unlock fast travel to get between areas faster, so you don't have to go through that whole section again. So they make it real fun in that way. But then once you get late in the game, you're like, I don't feel like I have to do all of that again. They just let you fast travel everywhere. And revisiting areas I haven't been to in weeks is fun, especially since they're the better areas in the game. Gongaga, I'm talking about you. You suck. But yeah, the game's fun again. And now I'm back in Disneyland. And I'm about to go and play some more Queen's Blood because I have the final queen in the kind of story mode of Queen's Blood, where there's like this Yu-Gi-Oh type story going on where a person is stuck in a shadow realm. And apparently like Queen's Blood, there's like some mythical power to it. So I'm on like the final mission in terms of that. But then after that, I'm gonna finally go on my date with Tifa, and it's gonna be good. I love you, Tifa. Bring back themes, PlayStation. Why did you get rid of background themes? I had a good Tifa background theme with her theme playing in the background. It was so good. It was so good. There's this insane. So there's like this piano side quest or like a mini game you can do, and I did. The latest one I did was Air's theme, and at first it was insane. I was like, why would you do this to me? This is hard. And then, it's about memorization for the most part, so I got it, figured it out. Easy.
Right.
But I missed one. So I went back to an area to get the sheet music, sit on the piano, and play it. And I'm like, Air's theme was supposed to be harder than this? This is insane. Wow. Everything's moving so fast. I don't play a lot of rhythm games. I am dying. Yeah, it's insane. It's like, it's Piano Hero. That's exactly what it is. It's ridiculous. Wow. but it's fun, and I'll figure it out eventually. It'll take some time, but I'll get it.
You'll get there.
I just got to get an A. I'm not trying to get an S. I'm so mad. I was doing Tifa's theme, and I was so close to getting an S, and then I missed one goddamn note. I was so upset.
Yeah.
Um, it sucked, and I'll never do it again. I'm good with an A. I'm not doing these thousands of times. Like there's some like mini games where I just play it once and go, yeah, that's good enough. I don't need to
Yep.
try and do the best at this one. Only the ones that I think are really fun, or sometimes
Arcade
there was one that gave me the reward of time material, which time material you can either the ATB charges faster, you can stop enemies from performing spells for a certain period of time, or you can just straight up freeze them in time. So I was like, yeah, give me that material. I'm gonna try my best to do this mini game. But yeah, back in Disneyland, having fun. This game's good. But yeah, that's all I got. And okay, look, like I said, I always once we get to the video game section, I'm like, we don't got a lot of time. I mean, we only been talking for 30 minutes. This is only gonna be like a 40-minute episode. But now we're at the 56-minute mark.
Right.
Because we were talking about Hades and Final
Yep.
Fantasy 7 Rebirth. So I'm always wrong.
Crazy how that works out.
But yeah, that's all I got. If you don't have anything,
Nope, that's all I got.
you can find my ads below me, Aiara's at below them, and the Musket's at below that. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more storytelling content, and to click the notification bell so that you're notified when we post. Peace.
See ya.